Ladies and gentlemen, some of you may not know, but I love the game of chess. I'm not saying that I'm a grandmaster or anything, but I've always loved this game. And it's because this game teaches accountability. Because, like, if you're playing a football game or you're playing a basketball game or a baseball game, you can blame things like luck or wind or a certain number of coincidences converging to just take that win from you. But chess, if you're playing against somebody, the only one that you have to blame for your loss is yourself and some of the tactical blunders that you may make along the way. Today, we're going to be talking about Kson quitting VShojo publicly and stating the reason why she's doing so, which I agree with 100%. We're going to get into that. But I want to show you this game that I played very recently, and it's going to become clear because I'm going to elaborate and use this as a teachable moment. So I'm playing the black pieces. My opponent's playing the white pieces. I'm not going to show our names for obvious reasons. It doesn't matter. So standard opening. I counter with another standard opening. Now, in this position, it's normal to bring out the B1 knight and place it on C6. That's normal. I go and I place my G1 knight on F6. It's a little bit of a trap to entice the person to come in and take my unprotected pawn. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can do with that. It allows you to, in some cases, seize momentum, and they've come in, they've moved their knight a second time, and it allows you to develop your pieces. So, for example, I could take my knight and move it here, and he's going to have to decide if he wants to move his knight back, and then by that time I could castle, and it just sort of gives you a little bit of momentum. So he makes a rather normal move. And again, I'm just playing the way that I play. Move out the bishop. The evaluation bar says, okay, well, white is doing a little bit better because you have this hanging pawn. And then it comes out with the bishop. This is a very, 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 very standard, very solid, very tried and true opening for white. And on the surface, it looks like this is going to be a very good game for white. So I finally move out my horse, and it's now protecting the pawn. So he comes out with a very standard move, opening up his bishop. I make an aggressive play. Now, I mean, there's a lot of different threats in this. My bishop can come. I could fork the rook and the queen if he's not careful, because the king can't take it because it's protected by my bishop. So it's a very aggressive move. So he castles. That's a perfectly legitimate way to diffuse the situation, because now I can no longer take this because I'm not going to sacrifice two pieces for a rook and a pawn. So I go and I do a very standard move, protecting this pawn here with another defender and opening up my bishop to protect my horse. In case he moves his horse, the queen can't come and just gobble up my pony. And then he plays this move. Now, this move, on the surface, seemingly, is a perfectly logical move. You want to kick the horse from away from here. You don't want him in your space. So naturally, he has to go either here or here. That's real. You're not going to go here because you'll get captured. But there's another move that I played. I think it's called the Fisherman's Trap. Now, the chess engine really doesn't like this move. In fact, you look at the eval bar and white is way ahead. It's like, what are you doing? And the reason I want to show you this is because this position is what is known as a trap. If you take the horse here, which looks very, very good, like you get a horse off the board, that's a pretty valuable piece. You know, that horse can cause a lot of trouble. That horse can cause a lot of problems. So taking the horse is the most natural thing in the world. You think that you're up material. All you be losing is a pawn. However, that's the trap. And he takes it. So the eval bar is going even further to show that white is ahead. White is doing just fine. I take the pawn. And now there are a couple of different things that you can do in this position, but ultimately, if you come down here and try to do the same thing I was talking about with the queen and the bishop, or the horse and the bishop, that can lead to some major problems because, you know, if I put your knight, if you bring down your bishop and I move up my pawn and you bring back your bishop, I can just take the horse. Your bishop's no longer protected. You're going to have to move, and that gives me a tempo. That gives me an advantage to do something to put your team in an even worse position. So he logically moves his horse away. You know, the queen is protecting this. You know, the queen can hit this. The horse can hit this. The bishop is protecting this. So naturally you think, okay, this move makes sense. He's putting it back here. He's gonna wheel around and come and take my pawn. Well, no, the game's over. What looked like an advantageous position for black, and in fact, if you can see the eval bar, the moment that he took my horse and I took him back, it even looked like white was winning. The eval bar is way in white's favor, and this is the moment that the game is over. A seemingly normal, logical move can lead to an irreparable tactical blunder. And in this case, there's nothing this person can do. There's nothing this person can do in this position. I'm sure if you get I'm sure if you get Magnus Carlsen, he could find a way out of this. But the fact is that there was nothing. By the way, this is a brilliancy. That's not just me tooting my horn. It's a double exclamation point, this move right here. Because the moment that he takes the rook, I come back and that's checkmate. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because chess is very good at teaching a lot of different lessons. There's something on the surface can look like everything is in a row. All the ducks are in a row. Everything, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Well, unfortunately, you have to be aware of the fact that even though something can look good, it doesn't mean that it is good. And in this case, Kson, who was the biggest member of VShojo after Iron Mouse, I would say that in Japan, she is the Japanese Iron Mouse. She is somebody that is absolutely massive. And she's massive over here too. She has quit VShojo. And the reason she quit VShojo, I wasn't just showing that chess game to show off, all right? You know, the chess game, I think it connects pretty perfectly. Because on the surface, VShojo Japan was showing that their books, their finances were great. That the money coming in and the money going out, everything was perfect, everything was great. Except it wasn't. Because they hadn't paid Kson a dime since September of 2024. You heard that correctly. VShojo hadn't paid Kson, and I mean we're coming up. This is the end of July, August. That's damn near 11 months. Yeah, July, August, September. So on the surface, everything seemed fine. All of the financials seemed fine. But in reality, behind the scenes, it was a disaster and they were putting on a front.
I quit VShojo today.
はい
VShojo やめます今日。
はい。
はい、31日予定でしたけど今日やめます。I quit.
Damn. And she had a lot to say on social media, feeling ashamed for all the positive stuff I've said about the company turn out to be an effing lie. Yes, go ahead and laugh at me. Why am I so stupid? Why do I not learn? Why do I always try to see the good side of people? Just to learn they don't effing care. Of course, it's all about money. I'm nothing for the corpos without the money. But you know what? I'm still lucky because I got you. My shinit ties. Shinit, shine. I don't understand. I don't know what that is. As long as I'm living, I'm thriving. Yeah, it's definitely not her fault. Um, yeah, I don't think that there's anything that she should be ashamed of. Looking back at myself, saying VShojo is such a great company makes me laugh. It's just too funny. I'm such a fool for believing convenient lies. Go ahead and laugh at me. Like this is way better worded. What an unlucky girl I am. Even so, when I think about the people who have been supporting me this whole time, I feel like I'm pretty damn lucky. So let's do lots of fun stuff. Anything short of dying is just a scratch. Damn. That's balls to the wall. But it's interesting. And so I have a lot of different things to say about VShojo. I've never liked the company. And I know that everyone is saying that now, but it's so interesting. I am so ahead of the curve on all of this stuff. I was hating like that's I was right about everything. No, I actually was. I've hated like for example Hassan. I've hated Hassan for a long time. Years. Years. In fact, I've hated Hassan since before he made the transition to Twitch. When he was on the Young Turks years ago. I've recognized what a detritus, evil, disgusting, subhuman piece of garbage this guy is. Well, people were hobnobbing with him and like pretending that he was a decent, sort of fellow. I knew exactly who and what he is. A lot of these people are in the same way. VShojo, I took a look at what the company was doing, and there was a reputation of, we're for creator freedom. People can leave VShojo and keep their avatars and stuff. Which, yeah, is great. However, Kson, what? 11 months you don't pay her? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy not to pay somebody for 11 months. But look at what they did to Nux Taku. You know what's interesting? I have had minimal communication with Nux Taku behind the scenes. Like, we don't chat. We're not like buddy. I'm not like sending him memes in his DMs. We're just not that close. He's never reached out and said like, I want any type of, friendly banter or anything. So I send meme shit to him on Twitter from time to time. But the fact is that I'm more pissed at the way that these people are treated than they are themselves. Like VShojo and the people within VShojo, Project Melody, Iron Mouse, and a lot of these other people, they coordinated to destroy Nux Taku. And it was 4 years in the wilderness where no one would touch Nux. He was a pariah, and yet he still persevered. A lot of these other content creators would fold. Do you think that if Ludwig had to do what Nux Taku did, do you think that he could actually do it? Absolutely fucking not. And the reason I can say that is because I've done that from the beginning. From the very beginning of my channel, I said I don't want to be in any clubs, I don't want to be in any groups, I don't want to be in any cliques. I'm going to build this channel brick by fucking brick. And I've had people, sponsors, reach out. Hey, do you want to? We'll give you this amount of money, like, because my viewership relative to my channel size is actually pretty good. You know, it differs, but I go anywhere from 200,000 views a month to like 350,000 views a month, which for me is amazing. Like I think that's incredible. You know, that I can get out there to that many people within like a 28-day period. But I've had sponsors and people reach out, and I've said absolutely not, because what's required in that is not only to change, like, could you tone this down, or could you like take this and maybe present it in a way like if I had a sponsorship deal and I had to talk about a difficult topic, and so now I have to think about what type of videos do I want to do at this type of day, and like you have to start really putting a lot of thought into it, because you're dealing with people that are giving you money and they want control over your content. My answer has always been absolutely not. So I can only imagine what it's like for like a corporate VTuber to have people control your content and what you can say and what you can't say and how you can say it. It's obnoxious and ridiculous. But the fact is that these people came for Nux Taku to destroy him. They came to ruin his reputation. And for me, I'm protected because I'm alone. Now, it's true, if anything happens to me, like if anything happens to my channel, it's true that, mostly it's just, gone. I mean, I'd post on X and stuff, but the reality is that going it alone does have a downside. It is a double-edged sword. More positives than negatives, but it is the reality. And Nux Taku was pushed into going it alone. And that's why for me it's so tragic. It's watching a guy that did these collabs and wanted to do these collabs and wanted to be involved and wanted to have a bunch of friends. And because he tried to do the right thing, he got basically thrown to the wolves. I'm more pissed at that than probably he is. I mean, I don't know his thoughts on that, in depth, like what he actually feels, because he'd probably just meme it off and laugh it off. But I'm furious on his behalf. The fact that Iron Mouse and Project Melody, all these fucking scabs, stabbed him in the back. I don't understand how people are okay with that. Like they're comfortable with that. Like with Mudahar stabbing Nux Taku in the back. It's like I'm so uncomfortable with that sort of dynamic. It makes me sick. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of VShojo. Many of the talent have removed VShojo from their names, including Henya, who was another really huge content creator. Yeah, a lot of them have removed VShojo from their names. The company may limp on, but I don't see how. I mean, but then again, that's what they said about Ninja Sanji. They said Ninja Sanji is going to go under like immediately when they lost a bunch of talent and their reputation took a hit. But who knows? Who knows? But I have to say, pretty despicable way to treat your talent. Not paying them for almost a year is unacceptable. If this were feudal Japan, they would have to commit ritual seppuku to spare their family the humiliation of what they've done. I don't think that's going to take place, but if it does, I would be here to live stream it. I'm just kidding. Only partially. I wouldn't show you the actual thing. We'd have to do a still image because YouTube and their yeah, you can't show people committing ritual seppuku. Damn. If I were dictator for a day, there'd be some major changes. Like what do you mean I can't show somebody committing ritual seppuku to spare their family the humiliation of the dishonorable act that they've done? Come on. What do you mean I can't show that? What are you trying to play here? We need to make America great again by bringing back crucifixion of pedophiles right on the White House lawn. Right on the White House lawn for everyone to see. Oh, you're a pedophile. Oh, you're guilty in a court of law. Okay. Bring out the crucifix. Or maybe it'd be like a Wheel of Fortune thing. Like you have to spin the wheel, and whatever punch. Oh, look! You spared of the crucifix. Oh, the man-eating piranhas. Oh, not good. Not good. I don't know what I would want. The crucifixion or the man-eating piranhas. Whatever. The pedophile is going into the dunk tank. Like, I don't know. I think I would be a pretty terrible president, but a pretty good emperor. I think I'd be a pretty good emperor because crime would go down to zero. Well, how would you make crime go down to zero? Well, I'd arrest all the criminals. I'd arrest all the criminals, and their punishments would be so brutal and draconian that people were like, "Oh, yeah, we're not going to steal that pack of gum because we don't want to lose our hands." I'm just kidding. I wouldn't order any of my soldiers to to cut off the hands of a kid for stealing some gum. Okay, I have my limits. I have my reason. No, because we don't believe in harming kids. Do you know why? Because it's biblical. Yeah, you may not know that because the left are a bunch of pedophiles that want to use the Bible to justify their abuse of kids. Yeah, they do. Believe it or not, it's crazy. But Mark 17:2, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were cast into the sea than he should be the cause of one of these little ones to sin. Yeah, not really ambiguous. Yeah, not really ambiguous. Don't hurt the kids. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. I would say in this time, go over and show some love to Kson. Because, yeah, what she's doing here, believe it or not, is actually pretty brave. Basically quitting on stream in front of your boss and doing it that publicly. Yeah, it's incredible. She's a very cool lady, and she will always be the dragon to those who remember her. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time.